comrades, in order to procure provisions. When they arrived in the city they discovered to their consternation that they had set foot in the land of the Laestrygones, a race of fierce and gigantic cannibals, governed by their king Antiphates. The unfortunate herald was seized and killed by the king, but his two companions, who took to flight, succeeded in reaching their ship in safety, and urgently entreated their chief to put to sea without delay. But Antiphates and his fellow giants pursued the fugitives to the seashore, where they now appeared in large numbers. They seized huge rocks, which they hurled upon the fleet, sinking 11 of the ships with all hands on board, the vessel under the immediate command of Odysseus being the only one which escaped destruction. In this ship, with his few remaining followers, Odysseus now set sail, but was driven by adverse winds to an island called Aeaea. Circe the hero and his companions were in sore need of provisions, but, warned by previous disasters, Odysseus resolved that only a certain number of the ship's crew should be dispatched to reconnoitre the country, and on lots being drawn by Odysseus and Eurylochus, it fell to the share of the latter to fill the office of conductor to the little band selected for this purpose. They soon came to a magnificent marble palace, which was situated in a charming and fertile valley. Here dwelt a beautiful enchantress called Circe, daughter of the sun god and the sea nymph Perse. The entrance to her abode was guarded by wolves and lions, who, however, to the great surprise of the strangers, were tame and harmless as lambs. These were, in fact, human beings who, by the wicked arts of the sorceress, had been thus transformed. From within they heard the enchanting voice of the goddess, who was singing a sweet melody as she sat at her work, weaving a web such as immortals alone could produce. She graciously invited them to enter, and all save the prudent and cautious Eurylochus accepted the invitation. As they trod the wide and spacious halls of tessellated marble, objects of wealth and beauty met their view on all sides. The soft and luxuriant couches on which she bade them be seated were studded with silver, and the banquet which she provided for their refreshment was served in vessels of pure gold. But while her unsuspecting guests were abandoning themselves to the pleasures of the table, the wicked enchantress was secretly working their ruin, for the wine cup which was presented to them was drugged with a potent draught, after partaking of which the sorceress touched them with her magic wand, and they were immediately transformed into swine, still, however, retaining their human senses. When Odysseus heard from Eurylochus of the terrible fate which had befallen his companions, he set out, regardless of personal danger, resolved to make an effort to rescue them. On his way to the palace of the sorceress he met a fair youth bearing a wand of gold, who revealed himself to him as Hermes, the divine messenger of the gods. He gently reproached the hero for his temerity in venturing to enter the abode of Circe unprovided with an antidote against her spells, and presented him with a peculiar herb called moly, assuring him that it would inevitably counteract the baneful arts of the fell enchantress. Hermes warned Odysseus that Circe would offer him a draught of drugged wine with the intention of transforming him as she had done his companions. He bade him drink the wine, the effect of which would be completely nullified by the herb which he had given him, and then rush boldly at the sorceress as though he would take her life, whereupon her power over him would cease, she would recognize her master, and grant him whatever he might desire. Circe received the hero with all the grace and fascination at her command, and presented him with a draught of wine in a golden goblet. This he readily accepted, trusting to the efficacy of the antidote. Then, in obedience to the injunction of Hermes, he drew his sword from its scabbard and rushed upon the sorceress as though he would slay her. When Circe found that her fell purpose was for the first time frustrated, and that a mortal had dared to attack her, she knew that it must be the great Odysseus who stood before her, whose visit to her abode had been foretold to her by Hermes. At his solicitation she restored to his companions their human form, promising at the same time that henceforth the hero and his comrades should be free from her enchantments. But all warnings and past experience were forgotten by Odysseus when Circe commenced to exercise upon him her fascinations and blandishments. At her request his companions took up their abode in the island, and he himself became the guest and slave of the enchantress for a whole year, and it was only at the earnest admonition of his friends that he was at length induced to free himself from her toils. Circe had become so attached to the gallant hero that it cost her a great effort to part with him, but having vowed not to exercise her magic spells against him, she was powerless to detain him further. The goddess now warned him that his future would be beset with many dangers, and commanded him to consult the blind old seer Tiresias 52 in the realm of Hades, concerning his future destiny. She then loaded his ship with provisions for the voyage, and reluctantly bade him farewell. The realm of shades, though somewhat appalled at the prospect of seeking the weird and gloomy realms inhabited by the spirits of the dead, Odysseus nevertheless obeyed the command of the goddess, who gave him full directions with regard to his course, and also certain injunctions which it was important that he should carry out with strict attention to detail. He accordingly set sail with his companions for the dark and gloomy land of the Cimmerians, which lay at the furthermost end of the world, beyond the great stream Oceanus. Favored by gentle breezes, they soon reached their destination in the far west. On arriving at the spot indicated by Circe, where the turbid waters of the rivers Acheron and Cocytus mingled at the entrance to the lower world, Odysseus landed, unattended by his companions. Having dug a trench to receive the blood of the sacrifices, he now offered a black ram and ewe to the powers of darkness, whereupon crowds of shades rose up from the yawning gulf, clustering round him, eager to quaff the blood of the sacrifice, which would restore to them for a time their mental vigor. But mindful of the injunction of Circe, Odysseus brandished his sword, and suffered none to approach until Tiresias had appeared. The great prophet now came slowly forward leaning on his golden staff, and after drinking of the sacrifice proceeded to impart to Odysseus the hidden secrets of his future fate. Tiresias also warned him of the numerous perils which would assail him, not only during his homeward voyage but also on his return to Ithaca, and then instructed him how to avoid them. Meanwhile numbers of other shades had quaffed the sense-awakening draught of the sacrifice, among whom Odysseus recognized to his dismay his tenderly loved mother Anticlea. From her he learned that she had died of grief at her son's protracted absence, and that his aged father Laertes was wearing his life away in vain and anxious longings for his return. He also conversed with the ill-fated Agamemnon, Patroclus, and Achilles. The latter bemoaned his shadowy and unreal existence, and plaintively assured his former companion in arms that rather would he be the poorest day-laborer on earth than reign supreme as king over the realm of shades. Ajax alone, who still brooded over his wrongs, held aloof, refusing to converse with Odysseus, and sullenly retired when the hero addressed him. But at last so many shades came swarming round him that the courage of Odysseus failed him, and he fled in terror back to his ship. Having rejoined his companions, they once more put to sea, and proceeded on their homeward voyage. The Sirens, after some days' sail, their course led them past the island of the Sirens. Now Circe had warned Odysseus on no account to listen to the seductive melodies of these treacherous nymphs, for that all who gave ear to their enticing strains felt an unconquerable desire to leap overboard and join them, when they either perished at their hands, or were engulfed by the waves. In order that his crew should not hear the song of the Sirens, Odysseus had filled their ears with melted wax, but the hero himself so dearly loved adventure that he could not resist the temptation of braving this new danger. By his own desire, therefore, he was lashed to the mast, and his comrades had strict orders on no account to release him until they were out of sight of the island, no matter how he might implore them to set him free. As they neared the fatal shore, they beheld the Sirens seated side by side on the verdant slopes of their island, and as their sweet and alluring strains fell upon his ear, the hero became so powerfully affected by them, that, forgetful of all danger, he entreated his comrades to release him, but the sailors, obedient to their orders, refused to unbind him until the enchanted island had disappeared from view. The danger past, the hero gratefully acknowledged the firmness of his followers, which had been the means of saving his life. The island of Helios they now approached, the terrible dangers of Scylla and Charybdis, between which Circe had desired them to pass. As Odysseus steered the vessel beneath the great rock, Scylla swooped down and seized 6 of his crew from the deck, and the cries of her wretched victims long rang in his ears. At length they reached the island of Trinacria, Sicily, whereon the sun god pastured his flocks and herds, and Odysseus, calling to mind the warning of Tiresias to avoid this sacred island, would fain have steered the vessel past and left the country unexplored. But his crew became mutinous, and insisted on landing. Odysseus was therefore obliged to yield, but before allowing them to set foot on shore he made them take an oath not to touch the sacred herds of Helios, and to be ready to sail again on the following morning. It happened, unfortunately, however, that stress of weather compelled them to remain a whole month at Trinacria, and the store of wine and food given to them by Circe at parting being completely exhausted, they were obliged to subsist on what fish and birds the island afforded. Frequently there was not sufficient to satisfy their hunger, and one evening when Odysseus, worn out with anxiety and fatigue, had fallen asleep, Eurylochus persuaded the hungry men to break their vows and kill some of the sacred oxen. Dreadful was the anger of Helios, who caused the hides of the slaughtered animals to creep and the joints on the spits to bellow like living cattle, and threatened that unless Zeus punished the impious crew he would withdraw his light from the heavens and shine only in Hades. Anxious to appease the enraged deity, Zeus assured him that his cause should be avenged. When, therefore, after feasting for 7 days Odysseus and his companions again set sail, the ruler of Olympus caused a terrible storm to overtake them, during which the ship was struck with lightning and went to pieces. All the crew were drowned except Odysseus, who, clinging to a mast, floated about in the open sea for 9 days, when, after once more escaping being sucked in by the whirlpool of Charybdis, he was cast ashore on the island of Ogygia. Calypso Ogygia was an island covered with dense forests, where, in the midst of a grove of cypress and poplar, stood the charming grotto palace of the nymph Calypso, daughter of the Titan Atlas. The entrance to the grotto was entwined with a leafy trellis work of vine branches, from which depended clusters of purple and golden grapes. The plashing of fountains gave a delicious sense of coolness to the air, which was filled with the songs of birds, and the ground was carpeted with violets and mosses. Calypso cordially welcomed the forlorn and shipwrecked hero, and hospitably ministered to his wants. In the course of time she became so greatly attached to him that she offered him immortality and eternal youth if he would consent to remain with her forever. But the heart of Odysseus turned yearningly towards his beloved wife Penelope and his young son. He therefore refused the boon, and earnestly entreated the gods to permit him to revisit his home. But the curse of Poseidon still followed the unfortunate hero, and for 7 long years he was detained on the island by Calypso, sorely against his will. At length Pallas Athene interceded with her mighty father on his behalf, and Zeus, yielding to her request, forthwith dispatched the fleet-footed Hermes to Calypso, commanding her to permit Odysseus to depart and to provide him with the means of transport. The goddess, though loath to part with her guest, dared not disobey the commands of the mighty Zeus. She therefore instructed the hero how to construct a raft, for which she herself wove the sails. Odysseus now bade her farewell, and alone and unaided embarked on the frail little craft for his native land. Nausicaa for 17 days Odysseus contrived to pilot the raft skillfully through all the perils of the deep, directing his course according to the directions of Calypso, and guided by the stars of heaven. On the 18th day he joyfully hailed the distant outline of the Phaeacian coast, and began to look forward hopefully to temporary rest and shelter. But Poseidon, still enraged with the hero who had blinded and insulted his son, caused an awful tempest to arise, during which the raft was swamped by the waves, and Odysseus only saved himself by clinging for bare life to a portion of the wreck. For 2 days and nights he floated about, drifted hither and thither by the angry billows, till at last, after many a narrow escape of his life, the sea goddess Leucothea came to his aid, and he was cast ashore on the coast of Scheria, the island of the luxurious Phaeaces. Worn out with the hardships and dangers he had passed through, he crept into a thicket for security, and, lying down on a bed of dried leaves, soon fell fast asleep. It chanced that Nausicaa, the beautiful daughter of King Alcinous and his queen Arete, had come down to the shore, accompanied by her maidens, to wash the linen which was destined to form part of her marriage portion. When they had finished their task they bathed and sat down to a repast, after which they amused themselves with singing and playing at ball. Their joyous shouts at last awoke Odysseus, who, rising from his hiding place, suddenly found himself in the midst of the happy group. Alarmed at his wild aspect, the attendants of Nausicaa fled in terror, but the princess, pitying the forlorn condition of the stranger, addressed him with kind and sympathetic words. After hearing from him the account of his shipwreck and the terrible hardships he had undergone, Nausicaa called back her attendants, reproached them for their want of courtesy, and bade them supply the wanderer with food, drink, and suitable raiment. Odysseus then left the maidens to resume their games, whilst he bathed and clothed himself with the garments with which they had furnished him. Athene now appeared to the hero and endowed him with a commanding and magnificent stature, and with more than mortal beauty. When he reappeared, the young princess was struck with admiration, and requested the hero to visit the palace of her father. She then desired her attendants to yoke the mules to the wagons and prepare to return home. Odysseus was cordially received by the king and queen, who entertained him with magnificent hospitality, and in return for their kindness the hero related to them the history of his long and eventful voyage, and the many extraordinary adventures and miraculous escapes which had befallen him since his departure from the coast of Ilion. When he at last took leave of his royal entertainers, Alcinous loaded him with rich gifts, and ordered him to be conveyed in one of his own ships to Ithaca. Arrival at Ithaca, the voyage was a short and prosperous one. By the direction of King Alcinous, rich furs had been laid on deck for the comfort of his guest, on which the hero, leaving the guidance of the ship to the Phaeacian sailors, soon fell into a deep sleep. When next morning the vessel arrived in the harbor of Ithaca, the sailors, concluding that so unusually profound a slumber must be sent by the gods, conveyed him on shore without disturbing him, where they gently placed him beneath the cool shade of an olive tree. When Odysseus awoke he knew not where he was, for his ever watchful protectress Pallas Athene had enveloped him in a thick cloud in order to conceal him from view. She now appeared to him in the disguise of a shepherd, and informed him that he was in his native land, that his father Laertes, bent with sorrow and old age, had withdrawn from the court, that his son Telemachus had grown to manhood, and was gone to seek for tidings of his father, and that his wife Penelope was harassed by the importunities of numerous suitors, who had taken possession of his home and devoured his substance. In order to gain time, Penelope had promised to marry one of her lovers as soon as she had finished weaving a robe for the aged Laertes, but by secretly undoing at night what she had done in the day she effectually retarded the completion of the work, and thus deferred her final reply. Just as Odysseus had set foot in Ithaca, the angry suitors had discovered her stratagem, and had become in consequence more clamorous than ever. When the hero heard that this was indeed his native land, which, after an absence of 20 years, the gods had at length permitted him to behold once more, he threw himself on the ground, and kissed it in an ecstasy of joy. The goddess, who had meanwhile revealed her identity to Odysseus, now assisted him to conceal in a neighboring cave the valuable gifts of the Phaeacian king. Then seating herself beside him, she consulted with him as to the best means of ridding his palace of its shameless occupants. In order to prevent his being recognized, she caused him to assume the form of an aged mendicant. His limbs became decrepit, his brown locks vanished, his eyes grew dim and bleared, and the regal robes given to him by King Alcinous were replaced by a tattered garb of dingy hue, which hung loosely round his shrunken form. Athene then desired him to seek shelter in the hut of Eumaeus, his own swineherd. Eumaeus received the old beggar hospitably, kindly ministered to his wants, and even confided to him his distress at the long-continued absence of his beloved old master, and his regrets at being compelled by the unruly invaders of his house, to slaughter for their use all the finest and fattest of the herd. It chanced that the following morning Telemachus returned from his long and fruitless search for his father, and going first to the hut of Eumaeus, heard from him the story of the seeming beggar whom he promised to befriend. Athene now urged Odysseus to make himself known to his son, and at her touch his beggar's rags disappeared, and he stood before Telemachus arrayed in royal robes and in the full strength and vigor of manhood. So imposing was the appearance of the hero that at first the young prince thought he must be a god, but when he was convinced that it was indeed his beloved father, whose prolonged absence had caused him so much grief, he fell upon his neck and embraced him with every expression of dutiful affection. Odysseus charged Telemachus to keep his return a secret, and concerted with him a plan whereby they might rid themselves of the detested suitors. In order to carry it into effect, Telemachus was to induce his mother to promise her hand to the one who could conquer in shooting with the famous bow of Odysseus, which the hero had left behind when he went to Troy, deeming it too precious a treasure to be taken with him. Odysseus now resumed his beggar's dress and appearance and accompanied his son to the palace, before the door of which lay his faithful dog Argo, who, though worn and feeble with age and neglect, instantly recognized his master. In his delight the poor animal made a last effort to welcome him, but his strength was exhausted, and he expired at his feet. When Odysseus entered his ancestral halls he was mocked and reviled by the riotous suitors, and Antinous, the most shameless of them all, ridiculed his abject appearance, and insolently bade him depart, but Penelope, hearing of their cruel conduct, was touched with compassion, and desired her maidens to bring the poor mendicant into her presence. She spoke kindly to him, inquiring who he was and whence he came. He told her that he was the brother of the king of Crete, in whose palace he had seen Odysseus, who was about starting for Ithaca, and had declared his intention of arriving there before the year was out. The queen, overjoyed at the happy tidings, ordered her maidens to prepare a bed for the stranger, and to treat him as an honored guest. She then desired the old nurse Euryclea to provide him with suitable raiment and to attend to all his wants. As the old servant was bathing his feet, her eyes fell upon a scar which Odysseus had received in his youth from the tusks of a wild boar, and instantly recognizing the beloved master whom she had nursed as a babe, she would have cried aloud in her joy, but the hero, placing his hand upon her mouth, implored her not to betray him. The next day was a festival of Apollo, and the suitors in honor of the occasion feasted with more than their accustomed revelry. After the banquet was over, Penelope, taking down the great bow of Odysseus from its place, entered the hall and declared that whosoever of her lovers could bend it and send an arrow through 12 rings, a feat which she had often seen Odysseus perform, should be chosen by her as her husband. All the suitors tried their skill, but in vain, not one possessed the strength required to draw the bow. Odysseus now stepped forward and asked permission to be allowed to try, but the haughty nobles mocked at his audacity, and would not have permitted it had not Telemachus interfered. The pretended beggar took up the bow, and with the greatest ease sent an arrow whizzing through the rings, then turning to Antinous, who was just raising a goblet of wine to his lips, he pierced him to the heart. At this the suitors sprang to their feet and looked round for their arms, but in obedience to the instructions of Odysseus Telemachus had previously removed them. He and his father now attacked the riotous revelers, and after a desperate encounter not one of the whole crew remained alive. The joyful intelligence of the return of Odysseus being conveyed to Penelope, she descended to the hall, but refused to recognize, in the aged beggar, her gallant husband, whereupon he retired to the bath, from which he emerged in all the vigor and beauty with which Athene had endowed him at the court of Alcinous. But Penelope, still incredulous, determined to put him to a sure test. She therefore commanded in his hearing that his own bed should be brought from his chamber. Now the foot of this bed had been fashioned by Odysseus himself out of the stem of an olive tree which was still rooted in the ground, and round it he had built the walls of the chamber. Knowing therefore that the bed could not be moved, he exclaimed that the errand was useless, for that no mortal could stir it from its place. Then Penelope knew that it must be Odysseus himself who stood before her, and a most touching and affectionate meeting took place between the long-separated husband and wife. The following day the hero set out to seek his old father Laertes, whom he found on one of his estates in the country engaged in digging up a young olive tree. The poor old man, who was dressed in the humble garb of a laborer, bore the traces of deep grief on his furrowed countenance, and so shocked was his son at the change in his appearance that for a moment he turned aside to conceal his tears. When Odysseus revealed himself to his father as the son whom he had so long mourned as lost, the joy of the poor old man was almost greater than he could bear. With loving care Odysseus led him into the house, where at length, for the first time since the departure of his son, Laertes once more resumed his regal robes, and piously thanked the gods for this great and unlooked-for happiness. But not yet was the hero permitted to enjoy his well-earned repose, for the friends and relatives of the suitors now arose in rebellion against him and pursued him to the abode of his father. The struggle, however, was but a short one. After a brief contest, negotiations of a peaceful nature were entered into between Odysseus and his subjects. Recognizing the justice of his cause, they became reconciled to their chief, who for many years continued to reign over them. Pronouncing Index. Note the system of pronunciation here followed is the English system, because it is the one at present most used among English-speaking peoples. In it the letters have substantially their English sound. Upon the continent of Europe the pronunciation of Latin and Greek is in like manner made to correspond in each nation to the pronunciation of its own language, and thus there is much diversity among the continental systems, though they resemble each other more closely than they do the English. In England and America also the continental methods of pronunciation have been extensively used. Thus Aeneas may be pronounced Aeneas, aids Aedes. Since the true, the ancient, pronunciation has been lost, and, as many contend, cannot be even substantially recovered, it is a matter of individual preference what system shall be followed. A. Abderus, Abderus, 244. Absurdus, Absirtus, 226. Academus, Academius, 268. Aclaus, Achelos, 254, 278. Acheron, Acheiron, 132, 250. Achilles, Achilles, 131, 291, 287, 297. ACIS, ACIS, 105, 167. Acrisius, Acrisius, 189, 205, 209. Acropolis, Acropolis, 189. Actian, Acation, 91. Admete, Admete, 244. Admetus, Admetus, 76, 119, 216. Adonis, Adon Iss, 59. Adrastia, Adrastia, 142. Adrastus, Adrastus, 272. Iacus, Eeacus, 34. Aeaea, Eeea, Island of, 67. Aegean Sea, Aegean, 287. 53 Aegis, Aegeus, 259, 262, 264. Aegina, Aegina, Island of, 230. Aegis, Aegis, 26. Aegisthus, Aegisthus, th as in both, 305. Eagle, Egle, 163. Aegyptus, Aegyptus, 135. Eo, Alo, 137. Aeneas, Aeneas, 304. Aeolus, Aeolus, 170, 210. Aer, Aer, 12. Aesacus, Esacus, 284. Aesculapius, Esculapius, 177. Aeson, Eeson, 213. Eats, Eetes, 215, 222. Ether, Ether, 12. Ethiopia, Ethiopia, 207. Ethra, Ethra, 259, 267, 288. Etna, Mount, Etna, 100. Agamemnon, Agamemnon, 94, 286, 305. Agave, Agave, 127, 205. Agenor, Azenor, 203. Ages, 22. Aglaia, Aglaia, 163. Agroilos, Agrolos, 122. Agrigent, Agrigent, 213. AIDS, AIDS, 52, 130, 250. Helmet of 206, 208. Aidonius, Aidunus, 130. Air, 12. Ajax, Ajax, the Greater, 298. The Lesser, 305. Alcestis, Alcestis, 76. Alcinous, Alcinous, 228, 318. Alcip, Alcip Pe, 113. Alcmeon, Alcmeon, 273, 277. Alcmene, Alcmene, 35, 234. Alecto, Alectu, 138. Alexander, Alexander, 284. Aloide, Aloida, 113. Alpheus, Alpheus, 242. Altars, 191. Althea, Althea, th as in both, 90. Altus, Altis, the, 41. Amalthea, Amalthea, 15. Amazons, Amazons, 244, 258, 264. Ambrosia, Ambrosa, 15. Amor, Amor, 150. Amphiaros, Amphiareos, 273. Amphidamas, Amphidamas, 221. Amphilocus, Amphilocus, 277. Amphion, Amphion, 33. Amphitrite, Amphitrite, 104, 167. Amphitryon, Amphitryon, 35, 234. Amicus, Amicus, 219. Anaitis Aphroditus, Anaitis Aphroditus, 92. Anank, Ananke, 147. Ancilii, Ancilii, 115. Androgeos, Androgeos, 262. Andromache, Andromache, 295, 304. Andromeda, Andromeda, 207. Antia, Antia, 256. Antios, Anti-os, 248. Anteros, Antiros, 150. Antigone, Antigone, 271, 275. Antinous, Antinous, 321. Antiope, Antiope, 32. Antifats, Antifats, 311. Apharius, Apharius, 34. Aphrodite, Aphrodite, 58, 99, 152. Apollo, Apollo, 68. Roman, 83. Apple of Discord, 39. Arachne, Arachne, 45. Arcadia, Arcadia, 240. Arctos, Arctos, 35. Areopagus, Areopagus, 44, 113, 212. Ares, Ares, 99, 112. Grove of, 215. Field of, 223, 225. Arate, Arete or Arete, 228, 318. Arethusa, Are Thursday Sa, 163. Aretias, Aretias, 221. Argia, Argia, 272. Argives, Argives, 274. Argo, 215, 230, 321. Argonauts, Argonauts, 213. Argos, Argos, 209, 216, 283. Argus, 224. Argus Panoptes, Panoptes, 36. Ariadne, Ariadne, 128, 263. Aricia, Aricia, 97. Arion, Arion, 275. Aristeus, Aristus, 81. Aristodemus, Aristodemus, 282. Aristomachus, Aristomachus, 282. Arsinoe, Arsinoe, 278. Artemis, Artemis, 87. Ascalaphus, Ascalaphus, 55, 250. Asclepius, Asclepius, 71, 76, 176. Ashtoreth, Ashtoreth, 61. Asphodel Meadows, Asphodel, 133. Astarte, Astarte, 61. Astria, Astria, 85. Astrias, Astrias, 68. Astyanax, Astyanax, 304. Atlanta, Atalanta, 89. 8. Ate, 149. Athamas, Athamas, 111, 215. Athene, Athene, th as in both, 43. Athene Polias, Poelias, 44, 189, 199, 264. Athens, 264. Atlas, 207, 248. Atrus, Atrus, 282. Atropo, at Ropos, 139. Ates, Atis, 19. Auges, Auges, 242, 254. Augurs, 196. Aulis, Aulis, 97. Aurora, Aurora, 13, 67. Autochthony, Autochtho New York, 22. Autolycus, Autolycus, 235, 251. Auton, Auton 205. Avernus, Avernus, 132. Avertur, Avertur, 180. Avruncus, Aviruncus, 180. B. Bacchanalia, Baccanalea, 199. Bacchantes, Baccantes, 198. Bacchus, Bacchus, 130. Batus, Batus, 119. Bossus, Bossus, 37. Bobricians, Bebricians, 219. Beach nymph, 168. Bellerophon, Bellerophon, 256. Bellerophant, Bellerophonts, 256. Bellona, Bellona, 116. Belvedere, Belsixtier, 85. Benthasisime, Benthasisime, 105. Beresynthia idea, Beresynthia idea, 19. Barrow, Burroe, first E like EI in there, 35. Birch nymph, 168. Bistinians, Bistuenians, 243. Bithynia, Bithynia, 220. Boreas, Boreas, 171. Brauron, Broron, 96. Brazen Age, 23. Briareus, Briareus, 13. Breezice, Breeziss, 292. Brontes, Brontes, 16. Bizarus, Bulletin Siris, 248. Buttes, Bulletin Ts, 228. C. Cadmus, 203. Caduceus, Caduceus, 121. Calais, Calais ISS, 171, 220. Calchas, Calcas, 94, 287, 289, 292. Calliroi, Calliroi, 278. Calliope, Calliope, 80, 159. Callisto, Callisto, 35. Caledonian boar hunt, 89. Calypso, Calypso, 317. Kamini, Camine, 184. Campus Martius, Martius, 115. Canaans, Canans, 182. Capanus, Capanus, 273. Capharius, Cape, Capharos, 305. Carmenta, Carmenta, 184. Carmentalia, Carmentalia, 184. Carnival, 201. Carpo, 164. Cassandra, Cassandra, 284, 303, 305. Cassiope, Cassiopeia, 207. Castalian Spring, 159, 195. Castor, 33, 187, 268. Caucasus, Caucasus, Mount, 222. Cecrops, Cecrops, 189. Celeno, Celeno, 137. Celius, Celius, 53. Celts, 10. Cineas, Cineas, 255. Centaurs, Centaurs, 266. CEOs, C-OS, 13. Cepheus, Cepheus, 207. Cephasus, Cephasus, 169. Cerberus, Cerberus, 133, 153, 249. Circean, Circean, 261. Cyralia, Assyrialia, 201. Ceres, Ceres, 58, 201. Cerunitis, Cerunitis, 240. Cestus, Cestus, 59. Ceto, Cetu, 111. Sutta, Sutta, 222. Sikhs, C-9, 110, 254, 280. Calciope, Calciope, 223. Chaos, Chaos, 11. Chars, Cares, 99. Charites, Charites, 163. Charon, Caron, 132, 153. Charybdis, Charybdis, 228, 316. Chimera, Chimera, 257, 162. Chiron, Chiron, 289. Chloris, Chloris, 171. Chrysaor, Chrysaor, 145. Chryses, Crisis, 292. Chryses, Crises, 292. Cimmerians, Cimmerians, 132, 314. Simon, Simon, 268. Circe, Circe, 64, 182, 227, 311. Cytheron, Scytheron, th as in both, 40. Mount, 236. Cleidius, Cleodius, 282. Cleopatra, Cleopatra, 220. Cleo, Clio, 159. Closina, Cloasina, 61. Clotho, Clotho, 139. Clymene, Clymene, 64. Clytemnestra, Clytemnestra, 94, 305, 306. Clytie, Clitie, 63. Cocalus, Cocalus, 213. Cocytus, Cocytus, 132, 314. Chilus, Celus, 11. Colchis, Colchis, 215, 222. Colonus, Colonus, 271. Colossus of Rhodes, Colos Sus, 66. Comus, Comus, 184. Consuelia, Consuelia, 183. Consus, Consus, 183. Copros, Copros, 239. Cora, 197. Cornucopia, Cornucopia, 148. Coronis, Coronis, 75. Corybants, Coribantes, 19. Kos, Island of, Kos, 104. Kotos, Kotos, 13. Crania, Island of, Crania, 286. Creon, Creon, 237, 275. Cresfont, Cresfonts, 282. Cretan bull, 243. Crete, Crete, 229. Crusa, Creusa, 210. Crius, Cri-os, 13. Croesus, Cresus, 195. Chromion, Chromion, 260. Cronus, Cronus, 14, 179. Ctesiphon, Ctesiphon, 93. Cumean Sibyl, the Cumean, 84. Cupid, Cupid, 150. Curetes, Curetes, 15. Cyb, Cybile, 18, 128. Cyclops, Cyclops, 105, 307. Cycnus, Cycnus, 66, 247. Selene, Mount, Silene, 119. Cyparissus, Cyparissus, 77, 182. Cyprus, Island of, Cyprus, 60. Cyrus, Cyrus, 195. Cythera, Cythera, 60. Cyzicus, Cyzicus, 218. Daedalus, Daedalus, 211. Damons, Damons, 185. Damastes, Damastes, 261. Danae, Danae, 205, 209. Danaides, Danaides, 135. Danas, Danaus, 135. Daniker, Daniker, 129. Daphne, Daphne, 74. Daphnephoria, Daphnephoria, 200. Daphnephorus, Daphnephorus, 200. Deianira, Deianira, 254. Dephobus, Dephobus, 300. Deipile, Deipile, 272. Delia, Delia, 83. Delos, Island of, Delos, 69, 83. Delphi, Delphi, 82. Delphic Oracle, 194. Demeter, Demeter, 50, 197. Demigods, 8. Demophon, Demophoon, 53, 280. Deucalion, Deucalion, 21. Diana, Diana, 87. Of Versailles, 88. Dice, DSE, 164. Dictis, Dictis, 205. Dindymene, Dindymene, 19. Dino, Dino, 145. Diomedes, Diomedes, 112, 243, 297, 305. Dione, Dione, 58. Dionysia, Dionysia, 180, 197. Dionysus, Dionysus, 124, 193, 198, 263. Dioscuri, Dioscuri, 33. Diri, Diri, 138. Dirce, Dirse, 33. Dis, Dis, 137. Discord, Goddess of, 284. Dodona, Duduna, 29, 216. Dolians, Duleones, 218. Dorians, Durians, 211. Doris, Duris, 108. Durus, Durus, 211. Dryads, Driades, 168. Dryas, Dris, 126. Dimas, Dimas, 283. Eeshtorus, Ekedurus, 247. Eshemen, Ekekimon, 282. Echidna, Ekekidna, 146. Echo, Eko, 169. Egeria, Egeria, 184. Ilithia, Ilithia, 41, 237. Electra, Electra, 111, 306. Electrion, Electrion, 35. Eleusinian Mysteries, Eleusinian, 56, 132, 196. Eleusis, Eleusis, 54. Elis, Elis, 254, 283. Elysian Fields, Elysian, 133. Elysium, Elysium, 133. Enceladus, Enceladus, 20. Endymion, Endymion, 87. Enipeus, Enipeus, 106. Enio, Enio, 113. Eos, Ee-os, 67, 297. Epiphus, Epaphus, 36, 64. Epius, Epi-os, 301. Ephesus, Temple of, Ephesus, 92. Ephialtes, Ephialtes, 105. Epidaurus, Epidaurus, 260. Epigoni, Epigoni, 276. Epimetheus, Epimetheus, 25. Epipeus, Epopeus, 32. Erato, Eratu, 159. Erebus, Erebus, 13. Erectheus, Erectheus, 210. Erysichthon, Erysichthon, 57. Erginus, Erginus, 237. Eridanus, river, the Eridanus, 65, 227, 248. Arrhenius, Arrhenies, 138. Eriphyle, Eriphyle, 273. Eris, Eeris, 39. Eros, Eros, 74, 150. Erymantian boar, Erymantian, 240. Erythia, Erythia, 246. Etiocles, Etiocles, 272, 275. Ether, Ether, 12. Euboeans, Euboeans, 210. Eumeus, Eumeus, 320. Eumenides, Eumenides, 138, 271. Eunomia, Eunomia, 164. Euphemus, Euphemus, 221. Euphrosyne, Euphrosyne, 163. Europa, Europa, 34. Eurus, Eurus, 171. Uriel, Uriale, 144. Eurybia, Eurybia, 13. Euryclea, Euryclea, 321. Eurydice, Eurydice, 81. Eurylochus, Eurylochus, 311. Eurynome, Eurynome, 98. Eurypylus, Eurypylus, 299. Eurystheus, Eurystheus, 237, 280. Eurytution, Eurytion, 246, 266. Eurytus, Eurytus, 235. Euterpe, Euterpe, 159. Evander, Evander, 184. Evenus, Evenus, 254. Farnese bull, the Farnese, 33. Fates, 139. Fawns, Fawns, 175. Faunus, Faunus, 174. Festivals, 196. Faecials, Faciales, 124. Flora, 180. Floralia, Floralia, 180. Fortuna, Fortuna, 147. Furies, 278, 306. Gigadria, Gadria, 246. Gia, Jea, 11. Galatea, Galatea, 167. Ganymede, Ganymede, 156, 246. Ganymedes, Ganymedes, 156, 246. Ge, 11. Genii, Xenei, 185. Geryon, Xerion, 246. Geryones, Jeriones, 246. Giants, 13, 199, 218. Gigantomachia, Gigantomachia, 20. Gloss, Glossy, 231. Glaucus, Glaucus, 109, 219. Golden Age, 22, 185. Golden Fleece, 215, 223, 226, 230. Gordius, Gordius, 128. Gorgons, 144, 206. Graces, 163. Gradivus, Gradivus, 115. Grea, Gree, 145, 206. Grashii, Grashii, 163. Gyges, Ggs, 13. H. Hades, Hades, 250. Heman, Heman, 276. Halcyon, Halcyon, 110. Haliothias, Halirrothias, 113. Hamadryads, Hamadryades, 168. Harmonia, Harmonia, 204, 276. Harpies, Harpis, 137, 220. Harpina, Harpina, 233. Hebe, Hebe, 41, 156, 256. Hebrus, River, the, Hebrus, 82. Hecate, Hecate, 85. Hecatombs, Hecatombs, 193. Hecatonchires, Hecatonchires, 13. Hector, 284, 290, 293. Hecuba, Hecuba, 283, 304. Helen, 267, 286, 304. Helenus, Helenus, 299. Helicon, Helicon, 158, 162. Helios, Helios, 61, 316. Helios Apollo, 70. Heli, Heli, 215. Hemera, Hemera, 13, 142. Heosphorus, Heosphorus, 68. Hephaestus, Hephaestus, 97. Hera, Hera, 38, 214. Heracles 54, Heracles, 26, 218, 234. Heraclide 54, Heraclide, 280. Hiri, Hiri, 41. Hercules, Hercules, see Heracles. Pillars of, 246. Herme, Herme, 118. Hermes, Hermes, 117, 250, 312. Hermione, Hermione, 307. Heroes, 8. Herostratus, Herostratus, 93. Hers, Heresi, 87, 122. Hesiod's Theogony, Hesiodi, 24, 150. Hesione, Hesione, 245, 253, 285. Hesperia, Hesperia, 163. Hesperides, Hesperides, 162, 247. Hesperus, Hesperus, 68. Hestia, Hestia, 48. Hippocamp, 229. Hippocamps, 102. Hippocrene, Hippocrene, 159, 162. Hippodamia, Hippodamia, 232, 266. Hippolyte, Hippolyte, 264. Hippolyte's girdle, 244. Hippolytes, Hippolytes, 283. Hippolytus, Hippolytus, 266. Hippomedon, Hippomedon, 273. Hippomens, Hippomenes, 91. Hori, Hori, 164. Horned hind, 240. Hyacinthus, Hyacinthus, 77. Hyades, Hyades, 170. Hydra, Lernaean, the Hydra, Lernaean, 239. Hygeia, Hygeia, 177. Hylas, Hylas, 216, 219. Hylas, Hyllus, 254, 281. Hymen, Hymen, or Hymenaeus, Hymenaeus, 154. Hyperion, Hyperion, 13. Hypermnestra, Hypermnestra, 135. Hypnus, Hypnus, 142. Hypsipyle, Hypsipyle, 274. Iambe, Iambe, 53. Iapetus, Iapetus, 24. Iasian, Iasian, 137. Iberia, Iberia, 247. Icaria, Icaria, 212. Icarus, Icarus, 211. Ichor, Icor, 7. Ida, Mount, 157, 284, 300. Idas, Idas, 34, 75. Idmon, Idemon, 216. Idomeneus, Idomenus, 286. Ilion, Ilion, 283. Illyria, Illyria, 205. Ilus, Ilus, 283. Inachus, Inachus, 36. Ino, Ino, 205, 215. Inus, Inus, 174. Io, Io, 36. Iobates, Iobates, 257. Iolaus, Iolaus, 239, 251, 281. Iolcus, Iolcus, 213, 230. Iole, Iole, 251, 255. Ion, Ion, 210. Iphigenia, Iphigenia, 94, 289, 307. Iphitus, Iphitus, 251. Iris, Iris, 155, 220. Iron Age, 23. Ismene, Issmene, 271. Ister, Isster, 226. Isthmian Games, Isthmian, 107, 264. Ithaca, Ithacah, 310, 319. Ixion, 9 Ion, 135. Jayani, Jani, 178. Janus, J.A. News, 18, 178. Jason, J.A. Sun, 213. Jocasta, Jokata, 269, 270. Juno, Juno, 42, 185. Jupiter, Jupiter, 38. Jupiter Ammon, 207. Juventus, Juventas, 156, 183. Kekiidamus, Kidumos, 113. Ker, Ker, 149. Kirs, Kiris, 149. L. Labdicus, Labdicus, 269. Labyrinth, Labyrinth, 212, 262. Lacedaemon, Lacedaemon, 283. Lacedaemonians, 189. Lachesis, Lachesis, 139. Lacalia, Lacoelia, 250. Lacus Nemorensis, Lacus Nemorensis, 97. Lawton, Lawton, 240. Laerts, Laertes, 314, 323. Laestrigones, Laetrigones, 311. Leus, Laius, 269. Lampetus, Lampetus, 67. Lampsacus, Lampsacus, 176. Lacoon, Laocoon, 301. Laodamas, Laodamas, 277. Laomedon, Laomedon, 104, 245, 253. Lar, 186. Lares familiars, Lares familiares, 186. Larissa, Larissa, 189, 209. Latmus Mount, 87. Latona, Latona, 31. Laverna, Laverna, 184. Leda, Leda, 33. Lemnos, Island of, Lemnos, 98, 217. Lemuralia, Lemuralia, 186. Lemures, Lemures, 186. Lerna, 239. Lernian Hydra. Sea Hydra. Lesbos, Lesbos, 290. Lethe, Lethe, th as in both, 133. Leto, Leto, 31. Leucippus, Leucippus, 34. Leucothea, Leucothea, th as in both, 111, 318. Liber, Liber, 130. Liberalia, Liberalia, 130. Libya, Libya, 207, 229. Limoniads, Limoniades, 170. Linden Nymph, 168. Linus, Linus, 235. Lion, Nemean, Anemian, 238. Ludimaximi, Ludimaximi, 48. Ludovici Villa, Ludovici, 116. Luna, Luna, 86, 97. Lupercus, Lupercus, 174. Lycaon, Lycaon, 37. Lycomedes, Lycomedes, 268, 287. Lycurgus, Lycurgus, 126, 189, 274. Lycus, Lycus, 32. Lincers, Linceus, 34, 216. M. Macaria, Maciaria, 281. Macaon, Maciaon, 177, 300. Magna Mater, Mater, 19. Maya, Maya, 119. Mamers, Mamers, 114. Manes, Manes, 185. Marathonian Bull, Marathonian, 262. Mares of Diomedes, 243. Marpisat, Marpisat, 75. Mars, Mars, 114. Mars Peter, Mars Peter, 114. Marcius, Marcias, 78. Mater Diorum, Diorum, 19. Matronalia, Matronalia, 43. Macone, Micone, 24. Media, Media, 223, 261. Medusa, Medusa, 45, 144, 206. Megara, Medzira, 138. Megapenthes, Megapenthes, 209. Megara, Megara, 138, 237, 251. Melanippe, Melanippe, 245. Meleager, Meleager, 89, 216. Meliades, Meliades, 170. Melissa, Melissa, 15. Melpomene, Melpomene, 159. Memnon, Memnon, 297. Memphis, Memphis, 36. Menades, Menades, 198. Menelaus, Menelaus, 294, 304, 305. Menestheus, Menestheus, 268. Menoesius, Menesus, 274. Menoetius, Menetius, 216. Mercury, Mercury, 123. Merope, Merope, first E like EI in there, 269. Messene, Messene, 283. Metanira, Metanira, 53. Metis, Metis, 30. Metra, Mitra, 57, 92. Midas, Midas, 79, 128. Media, Media, 209. Milo, Milo, 60. Miltiades, Miltiades, 268. Mimas, Mimas, 20. Minerva, Minerva, 47. Minerval, Minerval, 47. Minus, Minos, 34, 134, 212, 243. Minotaur, Minotaur, 212, 262. Minions, Minions, 237. Mnemosyne, Anemosyne, 13, 31. Moira, Moira, 139. Moiri, Moiri, 297, 139. Moli, Emoli, 312. Momus, Mo Muse, 149. Moneta Juno, Mo Nata, 42. Mopsus, 216. Morpheus, Morpheus, 143. Mors, Morts. See then Ados. Musagets, Musagetes, 71. Muses, 157. Mutinous, Mutunus, 176. Mycenae, Mycene, 209, 305. Myrmidons, Myrmidons, 288, 293, 295. Myrtilus, Myrtilus, 233. Mysia, Mysia, 219. Mysians, 289. And Naiads, Naiads, or Naiades, Naiades, 166, 227. Napia, Nape, 169. Narcissus, Narcissus, 169. Nausicaa, Nausicaa, 317. Naxos, Naxos, 128, 263. Necessitas, Necessitas, 148. Nectar, 15. Neleus, Nalus, 106, 119, 216. Nemea, Nemea, 274. Nemean lion. Sea lion. Nemesis, Nemesis, 141. Nemoralia, Nemoralia, 97. Neoptolemus, Neoptolemus, 299, 304. Nephalia, Nephalia, 139. Nephili, Nephili, 12. Nephili, Nephili, 215. Neptunalia, Neptunalia, 107. Neptune, Neptune, 14, 107. Nereides, Nereides, 108, 167. Nereus, Nereus, 13, 108. Neshes, 254. Nestor, 286, 301, 305. Nike, Nik, 117. Niobe, Niobe, 79, 141. Nomen, 309. Notus, Notus, 171. Nox. CNYX. Nictimus, Nictimus, 38. Nictius, Nictius, 32. Nymphs, 165. Nissa, Mount, Nisa, 125. NYX, Nix, 13, 142. O Oceanides, Oceanides, 108, 166. Oceanus, Oceanus, 12, 107, 166, 314. Occiput, Occipete, 137. Odysseus, Odysseus, 131, 287, 307. Erchalia, Echaelia, 255. Oedipus, Oedipus, 146, 269. Enus, Enus, 89, 254. Enemas, Enemas, 232. Enon, Eeno, 284, 300. Ogygia, Ogygia, 317. Oilus, Oilus, 216, 221. Olympia, Olympia, 29, 123. Olympic Games, 30. Olympus, Mount, 27. Omphale, Omphale, 252. Ops, 19. Oracles, 194. Orshamus, Orsiamus, 63. Orchomenus, Orchomenus, 237. Arcus, Orcus, 136. Oreades, Oreades, 169. Orithia, Orithia, 171. Orestes, Orestes, 95, 139, 306. Orpheus, Orpheus, 80, 216, 228. Orthrus, Orthrus, 246. Ossa, Ossa, 106. Othris, Mount, Othris, 16. Otus, Otus, 105. Oxen of Jerryones. See Jerryones. Oxylus, Oxylus, 283. Palaemon, Polymon, 111. Palamedes, Palamedes, 287, 291. Palatine, Palatine, 181. Pales, Pales, 181. Palilia, Palilia, 181. Palladium, Palladium, 299, 301. Palantids, 262. Pallas, Pallas, 117. Palisathene, 43, 234, 302. Pen, 79, 171, 198. Panacea, Panacea, 177. Panathenia, Panathiachenea, 199. Pandarios, Pandarios, 138. Pandora, Pandura, 25. Panacea, Panissi, 174. Panoptes, Panoptes, 246. Parsi, Parc. Simoiri. Paris, Paris, 39, 284, 286. Parnassus, Parnassus, 158. Parthenon, Parthenon, 46. Hill, 89. Parthenopeus, Parthenopeus, 273. Patroclus, Patroclus, 288, 293, 314. Pedasus, Pedasus, 292. Pegasus, Pegasus, 145, 162, 257. Pytho, Pytho, 134. Peleus, Pelus, 39, 287. Peleus, Peleus, 106, 213, 230. Pelion, Mount, Pelion, 106. Peloponnesus, Peloponnesus, 281. Pelops, Pelops, 135, 232. Penates, Penates, 187. Penelope, Penelope, 287, 319. Peneus, Peneus, 74, 242. Penthesilea, Penthesilea, 296. Pentheus, Pentheus, 126, 205. Pefredo, Pephredu, 145. Peplus, P plus, 199. Periphetes, Periphetes, 260. Pers, Perse, 64, 312. Persephone, Persephone, 52, 197, 267. Perseus, Perseus, 145, 205. Petasus, Petasus, 121. Phaeaces, Phaeaces, 228, 318. Phaedra, Phaedra, 266. Phaethon, Phaethon, 64, 67. Pharos, Isle of, Pharos, 108. Phases, River, Phases, 222. Phageus, Phageus, 278. Phidias, Phidias, 28. Philemon, Philemon, 37. Philoctetes, Philoctetes, 256, 290, 299. Phaeneus, Phaeneus, 208, 220. Phlegathon, Phlegathon, 134. Phocis, Ephosis, 306. Phoebe, Phoebe, 13. Phoebus Apollo, Phoebus, 68, 298. Pholus, Epholus, 240. Phorcys, Phorcys, 13, 111. Phrygia, Phrygia, 18. Phrihus, Phrihus, 222. Philus, Philaesi, 290. Phileus, Philus, 242, 254. Phila, Phila, 233. Picumnus, Picumnus, 182. Picus, Picus, 182. Pyria, Pieria, 119, 158. Pierides, Pierides, 158, 162. Pyrrhus, Pyrrhus, 158. Pylumnus, Pylumnus, 182. Pindus, Mount, 158. Pirithous, Pirithous, 216, 250, 265. Pisa, Pisa, 232. Pittheus, Pittheus, 259. Platia, Platia, 40. Pleiades, Pleiades, 119. Pluto, Pluto, 136. Plutus, Plutus, 132, 137, 148. Podalirius, Podalirius, 177. Podarces, Podiarces, 253. Pollux, 33, 187, 227, 268. Polybotes, polybotes, 104. Polybus, polybus, 269. Polydectes, polydectes, 205. Polydeuces, polydeuces. See pollux. Polydorus, polydurus, 205. Polyhymnia, polyhymnia, 159. Polynices, polynices, 271, 272, 275. Polyphemus, polyphemus, 105, 219, 307. Pomona, poemona, 180. Pontus, 13. Portalavernalis, lavernalis, 184. Poseidon, Poseidon, 101, 162, 266. Praxiteles, Praxiteles, 123. Priam, Prim, 254, 283, 304. Priamus, Priamus. See Priam. Priapus, Priapus, 175. Priests, 191. Procerusts, Procrustes, 261. Proetus, Pretus, 257. Prometheus, Prometheus, 24, 149, 193, 222. Proserpine, Proserpine, see Persephone. Protesilos, Protesilaus, 290. Proteus, Proteus, 108. Prytaneum, Prytaneum, 49. Sophis, Sophis, 278. Psyche, Sik, 150. Pylades, Pylades, 95, 306. Pylos, Pylos, 286. Pyrrhicmon, Pyracemon, 16. Pyrrha, Pyrrha, 22. Pythia, Pythia, 195, 269. Pythian Games, 83. Python, Python, 31, 72, 195. Quirinus, Kri News, 115. R. Remus, Remus, 114. Rhadamanthus, Rhadamanthus, 34, 134. Rhamnus, Rhamnus, 142. Rhamnusia, Rhamnusia, 142. Rhea, Rhea, 13, 18. Rhoda, Rhoda, 105. Rhodes, Rhodes, 105. Rhodope, Mount, Rhodope, 130. Rhoetus, Rhetus, 20. Robigus, Robigus, 180. Romulus, Romulus, 114. S. Sacrifices, 192. Sagaris, Sagaris, 19. Salamis, Salamis, 285. Salii, Salei, 115. Samos, Samos, 34. Saturn, Saturn, 17, 200. Saturnalia, Saturnalia, 200. Satyrs, Satyrs, 174, 198. Scamander, Scamander, 290. Scaria, Scaria, 318. Skirnews, Skinews, 89. Syros, Island of, Siros, 268, 287. Silla, Silla, 104, 316. Siren, Siron, 260. Seasons, 164. Selene, Selene, 86. Selene Artemis, 96. Selly, Selly, 29. Semele, Semele, 35, 205, 215. Serifus, Serifus, 205. Servius Tullius, Servius Tullius, 184. Shades, Realm of, 267, 314. Sibyls, Sibyls, 84. Silence, Silence, 174. Silenus, Silenus, 125, 198. Sylvanus, Sylvanus, 115, 182. Silver Age, 23. Simois, Simois, 290. Sinus, Sin-Nis, 260. Sinon, Sinon, 302. Syphilus, Syphilus, 80. Sirens, Sirens, 112, 158, 315. Sisyphus, Sisyphus, 135. Sol, Sol. Helios. Solimans, Solimans, 258. Somnus, Somnus. Hypnus. Soothsayers, 195. Sparta, 285. Sphinx, Sphinx, 146. Stables, Augean, Augean, 242. Statues, 190. Stelio, Stelio, 57. Stirropes, Stirropes, the first E like EI in there, 16. Stheno, Stheno, 144. Stropheus, Stropheus, 306. Stymphalides, Stymphalides, 221, 242. Styx, Styx, 117, 132, 287. Symplegades, Symplegades, 221. Syrinx, Syrinx, 172. Certs, Certes, 229. Titenarum, Tenarum, 132, 250. Talaria, Talaria, 121. Talus, Talus, 229. Tantalus, Tantalus, 134. Tarquinia superbus, Tarquinia superbus, 84. Tartarus, Tartarus, 14, 134. Tauricachersonsis, Tauricah Chersonasus, 93, 306. Taurus, Tauris, 93, 306. Tasia, Tjaia, 279. Telamon, Telamon, 216, 253, 285. Telemachus, Telemachus, 287, 320. Telephus, Telephus, 289. Temenus, Temenus, 282. Temples, 188. Tundas, 10 Edos, 290, 301, 303. Terminus, Terminus, 182. Terpsichore, Terpsichore, 159. Tira, Tira, the E like EI in there, 11. Tethys, Tethys, TH as in both, 107, 166. Ptolemaios, Ptomias, 209. 55 Thalia, Thalia, 159, 163. Thallo, Thallo, 164. Tamaris, Tomiris, 158. Then Atos, then Atos, 142. Thomas, Thomas, 13, 111, 137. Thebes, Thebes, 203. Dia, Tia, 13. Themis, Themis, 31, 48. Themisira, Themisira, 245. Thermodon, Thermodon, 244. Thersander, Thersander, 276. Thersites, Thersites, 297. Theseus, Theseus, 250, 259. Thesmophoria, Thesmophoria, 197. Thessaly, 77. Thestius, Thestius, 33. Thetis, Thetis, 39, 98, 110, 297. Thione, Tone, 128. Tiphys, Tiphys, 216. Tiresias, Tiresias, 235, 271, 274, 277, 313. Tyrans, Tyrans, 209, 252. Tyranth, Tyranth, 209, 252. Tisiphone, Tisiphone, 138. Titanomachia, Titanomachia, 17. Titans, Titans, 13. Tithonus, Tithonus, 68, 297. Titius, Titius, 134. Trachin, Trachin, 254. Trachis, Trachis, 254. Trinacria, Trinacria, 316. Triptolemus, Triptolemus, 53. Triton, Triton, 109. Trivia, Trivia, 97. Troezen, Treason, 251. Tros, Tros, 157, 246. Troy, 283. Walls of, 104. Tubal Cain, Tubal Cain, 101. Tick, Tik, 147. Tidius, Tiduce, 272. Tindarius, Tindarius, 285. Typhoeus, Tifoueus, 21. Typhon, Tifon, 21. Tyro, Tiro, 106. Uffizi Gallery, Uffizi, 80. Ulysses, Ulysses, C. Odysseus. Urania, Urania, 159. Uranus, Uranus, 11. V. Veneralia, Veneralea, 61. Venus, Venus, 61, 183. Of Milo, 60. Vertumnus, Vertumnus, 181. Vesta, Vesta, 50, 201. Vestalia, Vestalia, 59, 201. Vyasalavia, 6 Isalavia, 184. Victoria, 117. Vulcan, 100. W. Winds, 170, 298. Wooden Horse, 301. Xuthus, Zuthus, 210. Zephyrus, Zephyrus, 151, 171, 310. Zetes, Zetes, 171. Zethus, Zethus, 33. Zeus, Zeus, 26. A complete course in the study of English. Spelling, language, grammar, composition, literature. Reads Word Lessons, a complete speller. Reads Introductory language work. Read and Kellogg's Graded Lessons in English. Read and Kellogg's Higher Lessons in English. Read and Kellogg's One Book Course in English. Kellogg's Textbook on Rhetoric. Kellogg's Textbook on English Literature. In the preparation of this series, the authors have had one object clearly in view, to so develop the study of the English language as to present a complete, progressive course, from the spelling book to the study of English literature. The troublesome contradictions which arise in using books arranged by different authors on these subjects, and which require much time for explanation in the schoolroom, will be avoided by the use of the above complete course. Teachers are earnestly invited to examine these books. Maynard, Merrill, & Co., Publishers. 43, 45, and 47 East 10th Street, New York. Notes 1. The early Greeks supposed the earth to be a flat circle, in the center of which was Greece. Oceanus, the ocean stream, encircled it, the Mediterranean being supposed to flow into this river on the one side, and the Euxine, or Black Sea, on the other. 2. Owing to the vagueness of the various accounts of creation, the origin of the primeval gods is variously accounted for. Thus, for instance, Oceanus, with some, becomes the younger brother of Uranus and Gaia. 3. The myth of Cronus swallowing his children is evidently intended by the poets to express the melancholy truth that time destroys all things. 4. Nectar was the drink, and ambrosia the food of the gods. 5. The Cyclops are generally mentioned as the sons of Uranus and Gaia, but Homer speaks of Polyphemus, the chief of the Cyclops, as the son of Poseidon, and states the Cyclops to be his brothers. 6. Possibly an image of him placed in readiness. 7. This age was contemporary with the commencement of the dynasty of Zeus. 8. Hesiod is said to have lived 850 years before the Christian era, consequently about 200 years after King David. He lived in Boeotia, where his tomb is still shown at Orchomenus. This ancient writer left behind him two great poems, one entitled The Works and Days, in which he gives us some of the earliest Greek legends, and the other, the Theogony, containing the genealogies of the gods, but, unfortunately, both these poems have been so interpolated by the writers of the Alexandrian school that they have lost their value as reliable sources of information with regard to the early beliefs of the Greek nation. 9. Epimetheus signifies afterthought, Prometheus forethought. 10. There are various versions of this myth. According to some, the jar or vase was full of all the ills which flesh is heir to. 11. From Dios, the sky. 12. A sacred shield made for Zeus by Hephaestus, which derived its name from being covered by the skin of the goat Amalthea, the word aegis signifying goat's skin. 13. See Demeter. 14. This frightful monster had sprung from the slimy and stagnant waters which remained on the surface of the earth after the deluge of Deucalion. 15. Castor and Pollux were known by the name of the Dioscuri, from Dios, gods, and Kuroi, youths. 16. The ancient Greeks attributed much of the subsequent character of an individual to early influences, hence Hera, the future queen and mistress of heaven, is represented as being brought up in a domesticated and orderly household, where home virtues are carefully inculcated. 17. In the Homeric age peacocks were unknown, it is therefore the later poets who describe Hera surrounded with peacocks, which were brought to Greece from India. 18. This circumstance has given rise to the erroneous conclusion that Juno presided over the finances of the state, but the word moneta is derived from the Latin munera, which means to warn or admonish. 19. See Roman festivals. 20. The first large ship possessed by the Greeks fit for more than coast navigation. 21. When Perseus, with the help of Athene, had cut off the head of the Medusa, the two sisters caused a sad dirge-like song to issue from the mouths of the many snakes of which their hair was composed, whereupon Athene, pleased with the sound, imitated the melody on a reed, and thus invented the flute. 22. For details see Roman festivals. 23. See Legend of Troy. 24. Some, with but little reason, make Demeter the daughter of Uranus and Gaia. 25. Demeter transformed Ascalaphus into an owl for revealing the secret. 26. The course which the sun ran was considered by the ancients to be a rising and descending curve, the center of which was supposed to be reached by Helios at midday. 27. The river Po. 28. This great work of antiquity was destroyed by an earthquake 56 years after its erection, BC 256. The fragments remained on the ground for many centuries, until Rhodes was conquered by the Turks, and they were eventually sold by one of the generals of Caliph Othman IV to a merchant of Emesa for £36,000, AD 672. 29. According to some authorities, Strymon. 30. This wonderful lyre, which had been given to Apollo by Hermes, Mercury, in exchange for the caduceus or rod of wealth, is said to have possessed such extraordinary powers, that it caused a stone, upon which it was laid, to become so melodious, that ever afterwards, on being touched, it emitted a musical sound which resembled that produced by the lyre itself. 31. Aristeus was worshipped as a rural divinity in various parts of Greece, and was supposed to have taught mankind how to catch bees, and to utilize honey and wax. 32. Astrea was the daughter of the Titans Coos and Phoebe. Perses was son of the Titans Crius and Eurybia. 33. Called also Anaitis Aphroditus. 34. This occurred during the night Alexander the Great was born. 35. Another version with regard to the origin of this defect, is that being born ugly and deformed, his mother Hera, disgusted at his unsightliness, herself threw him violently from her lap, and it was then that his leg was broken, producing the lameness from which he suffered ever after. On this occasion he fell into the sea, and was saved by the sea nymphs Thetis and Eurynome, who kept him for 9 years in a cavern beneath the ocean, where he made for them, in gratitude for their kindness, several beautiful ornaments, and trinkets of rare workmanship. 36. According to some accounts Charis was the wife of Hephaestus. 37. The trident resembled the arrow-headed pronged fork, used by the fishermen of the Mediterranean Sea in the eel fishery. 38. Scylla is a dangerous rock, much dreaded by mariners, in the Straits of Messina. 39. The island of Rhodes owes its name to her. 40. It is worthy of notice that the sons of Poseidon were, for the most part, distinguished by great force and turbulence of character, in keeping with the element over which their father was the presiding deity. They were giants in power, and intractable, fiery, and impatient by nature, spurning all efforts to control them, in all respects, therefore, fitting representatives of their progenitor, the mighty ruler of the sea. 41 A cubit is the length from the elbow to the extremity of the middle finger, and therefore an indefinite measure, but modern usage takes it as representing a length of 17 to 18 inches. 42 On the Egyptian coast. 43 See Legend of the Argonauts. 44 His two sons Deimos and Phobos. 45 Romulus was deified by the Romans after death, and was worshipped by them under the name of Quirinus, an appellation which he shared in common with his father Mars. 46 Midas was the son of Cybele and Gordius, the king who tied the celebrated and intricate knot. 47 The shades of those mortals whose lives had neither been distinguished by virtue nor vice, were condemned to a monotonous, joyless, existence in the asphodel meadows of Hades. 48 Echidna was a bloodthirsty monster, half maiden, half serpent. 49 One of the horns of the goat Amalthea, broken off by Zeus, and supposed to possess the power of filling itself with whatsoever its owner desired. 50 According to another account, Momus discovered that Aphrodite made a noise when she walked. 51 The word Psyche signifies butterfly, the emblem of the soul in ancient art. 52 Tiresias alone, of all the shades, was in full possession of his mental vigor. 53 Most of the words ending in eus may also be pronounced thus, aegeus, atreus, prometheus, etc. 54 The first e like ei in there. 55 Th at the beginning of a word has its soft sound, as in both. End of the Project Gutenberg ebook. Myths and Legends of Ancient Greece and Rome. Updated editions will replace the previous one. The old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances, and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start, full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works. By using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg, you agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Electronic Works 1.a. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLOF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying, or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg, 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4 Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark. 1.e.5 Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark license. 1.e.6 You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee, or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7 Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8 You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works provided that, you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4, Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark works. 1.e.9 If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f.1.f.1 Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects, such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2 Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs, and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive, or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3 Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4 Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5 Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6 Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion, and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs, and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark. Project Gutenberg trademark is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers including obsolete, old, middle-aged, and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, Utah 841-16801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork, and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways including checks, online payments, and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark electronic works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the U.S. unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks. Back, 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 back. A Handbook of Mythology. Myths and Legends Ancient Greece and Rome. E. M. Berens. New York, Maynard, Merrill, & Co., 43, 45 and 47 East 10th Street. Preface. Myths and Legends of Ancient Greece and Rome. Part I. Myths. Introduction. Origin of the World. First Dynasty. Uranus and Gaia. Kylus and Terra. Second Dynasty. Cronus, Saturn. Rhea, Ops. Division of the world. Theories as to the origin of man. Third Dynasty. Olympian divinities. Zeus 11, Jupiter. Hera, Juno. Pallas Athene, Minerva. Themis. Hestia, Vesta. Demeter, Ceres. Aphrodite, Venus. Helios, Sol. Eos, Aurora.